My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. Hey y'all, so as you can tell, we're here in my new space. Joe and I moved over the weekend. Our move went relatively smoothly. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. And here we are. Things are still chaotic. The space is sort of maybe more than halfway set up, but definitely not ready to show you or show anyone. Also, I have no idea how this is going to work out for filming. I'm not sure if I'll be able to filter out the ambient noise of the traffic on the street outside. We're on the 6th floor, but I can still hear the buses going past. I'm not sure if the color balance is going to be okay with these lights coming from behind. I did take some test shots to make sure you would still be able to see me. My lights are strong enough to actually light me, even though I'm so strongly backlit. But there are all manner of problems that could be arising right now as I film my first video in this new space. I don't know if this is the direction in which I'm going to film, if this is the background I'm going to keep, and I know that our stuff is going to be rearranged a little bit as we settle in. Most of you are totally understanding, and I know that you know, and I'm probably just over-explaining right now. This is the first time I've filmed here, and it'll change and it'll get more and more perfect as time goes on, but some of you aren't very understanding, and sometimes they get picked apart in the comments for not having perfectly high production value. So it gives me the feeling that I need to give these disclaimers. I'm just one little person making it up as I go along, okay? This is a fun video. It's the video in which I report the way in which I spent my budget in the preceding month. So I'm going to tell you what I bought in March with my budget, and I actually have pretty much all the items right here to show you. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. Okay, so I went into the month of March with $282. So I saved $82 of my February budget, which is $200 a month, and it rolled over to March. So I started with $282. I was feeling good, and I kind of hung on for a while. I talked about this in my check-in. I spent a little bit here and there, but I didn't make any kind of major purchases. However, it adds up, as you'll see. I ended up spending $137, which is less than half of what I had, but I felt like I didn't spend that much. And then when I kind of look at it, it's like, oh. Yeah, I'm looking at the list, it's just little things. It's like little things here and there. The most I spent at one time was about $27. That was a ColourPop order. We'll get to that. Everything else was like $10, $15, and it ended up adding up to $137. The other thing is, as I discussed in my check-in, again, it was my birthday at the end of February, so I kind of had this cushion in March where I was feeling like I had new stuff. And what I didn't say in my check-in is that I went into the month of March with 2 gift certificates. Actually, I had them for a while. I'd been hanging on to them for a while for Sephora. 2 Sephora gift certificates, and together they added up to $150. One was a Christmas gift, so I had really been hanging on to it for a while, and then another one had come my way since the holidays, and I spent them both in March. So there are things that I acquired in March by my own means, but that I didn't buy with my budget. I'm not going to talk about those products in this video. I'm actually going to film a separate video, an upcoming video, how I spent 2 gift cards at Sephora. A clickbait title if I've ever heard one. I expect 30,000 views. No, just kidding. It's not even that clickbaity, but it'll be really fun to film it, and hopefully it will be fun to watch, because I did kind of go around and around about how to spend those gift certificates. Anyway, I said we were getting into the meat of the video, and I'm still talking in a way that's not meaty. So the first thing, I'm going in chronological order because I just kind of wrote them down in chronological order as I bought the things. The first thing I bought was this little travel sample spray of perfume, and look at me, it's already over half used because I bought it and then I used the F out of it because I effing love it. This was such an interesting experience. What was I doing? What were Julia and I doing? I think we were having dinner, and it was like near my birthday. I think it was like a post-birthday dinner. But we got together beforehand, and we walked around on Sunset, and I went into one of the most amazing stores in LA, which is called Le Pink. It's a little apothecary beauty shop that is absolutely crammed. It's one of those shops that has like 10 times more inventory than you would think to try to put in the space, but it really works the way they have it. And they carry a bunch of interesting brands that it's hard to often see in person. Like they carry Rituel des Filles, they carry RMS, I know RMS is becoming a bit more ubiquitous, but I was able to swatch RMS products at Les Pink before. I think they were in Sephora. And they carry a bunch of amazing small perfumeries. I found things at Les Pink that I have never heard of before. It's just a fun little place. If you ever visit LA or if you live in LA, Les Pink. We were smelling a bunch of the scents there because Julia wanted to buy me a birthday gift. We went in there and she was like, pick something out. I ended up picking another sample size of perfume that I don't have in front of me, which is the Historie des Parfums Ambre 114 is what it's called. It's Amber 114. And that's lovely. It's a scent I've had before and I've been using it a lot this month. Actually, I've been trading off between it and this, and sometimes I've been mixing them together. So I had never heard of this perfumery before. It's called Etat Libre d'Orange. And this scent is called Une Amorette. It is a collaboration with Roland Mouret. And I sprayed it, I smelled it, and it's very strong and weird. It has a super intense burst of smell when you spray it that is abhorrent. It's kind of like camphorous and resinous, but in a way that kind of makes you go, oh, like almost like you've smelled smelling salts and they like wake up your brain. Not a thing that I want to smell like, but something intrigued me about it. I think it maybe hadn't been sprayed in a while, the tester, and so it didn't have that about it. It had sort of this lingering, interesting, complex and alluring smell, like it makes you want to keep smelling it. So I sprayed it on my arm and then I was like, ugh, ugh. And Julia smelled it and she was like, ugh, oh my gosh. And I was like, ugh, I really wish I hadn't sprayed that. We continued on with our, browsing at Les Pink, and she bought me the other little travel spray of perfume. And then we went to another store, a clothing store, and we were just looking at the clothes and trying on a couple of clothes. And about 20 minutes later, I smelled my arm and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm going to go back to, I was like, Julia, I have to go back to Les Pink and buy that perfume because it had transformed on my skin into one of my all-time favorite scents. And I've been struggling with how to explain it to you. It's kind of like a patchouli that has none of the head shop hippie vibe smell, only the sort of alluring, addictive part of patchouli and not that head shop implication to it. And then you take that and you make it just incredibly complex and deep and like historical smelling. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I love it so much. I'm gonna look up the notes really quickly so that I can give you a slightly more informed review than I have thus far. So it has 3 notes that are normal perfume notes. There's iris, vanilla, and jasmine. I mean, I'm not surprised that it has vanilla in it because I love things that have vanilla as part of their scent profiles. But then it has this 4th ingredient that I'd never heard of. It's akigala wood. It's spelled Akigala, akigala wood, akigala wood. And that must be the thing that makes it smell so camphorous and intense when you first smell it, almost like bug spray or something. It has this like, but that must also be the thing that is drying down to such an alluring and addictive lingering scent on my body and on my clothes. It's one of those things that gets in amongst the fibers of the fabric of my clothes. All day long when I spray this, I smell myself and I'm like, I smell so good. I smell so good. It's the kind of scent that I got it and I use it just so I can smell it because smelling it makes me feel good. I don't even care if I smell like this to other people, although I don't mind it because I think it smells exquisite. But my main reason for getting it is because I want to be surrounded with it as I move through my day myself. So I pulled up Lucky Scent, which is a perfume, retailer, so that I could find the notes. And I just want to read you what it says really quickly. Soft and romantic, yet striking and avant-garde. Une Amourette has a beautifully woodsy iris that wears like the most flattering couture you can imagine. And then it says it starts with the iris note, but I don't think that thing that I'm smelling when I first spray it is iris. That it can't be, because iris, I've smelled iris before. I mean, Glossier You is an iris scent, and it's nothing like that. It's very unusual. The thing that this smells like is very unusual. And then it has a bunch of other stuff about the gentle earthiness and all of this stuff. It says, as it dries, the gentle earthiness of the iris further gives shape to the body beneath, evoking a softer but still distinctive carnality that has us positively swooning. And that's exactly what it is. It's got this kind of like carnal, complex patchouli thing going on to me. I cannot believe how long I have talked about that perfume. God help me, God help us all. Let's move on. So the second thing that I purchased in March was this. This is the Mario Badescu Glycolic Foaming Cleanser. I have a bunch of, this is my second cleanser. I use an oil cleanse first to remove my makeup, and then I use a second cleanser to get all of the traces of everything off. And in the case of this, to help stave off acne, because the glycolic acid in this, even though it's only on my skin for a short time, I think really does help to kind of cleanse out my pores, cleanse the surface of the skin. I've just noticed over the years that when I'm using this, my skin tends to stay a little bit more clear than it does when I'm not using this. So I had run out of this and I didn't repurchase it because I have so many second cleanses right now. I've been gifted a number of them. I received some full sizes of second cleanse products at the Indie Beauty, what did I go to? Indie Beauty Con, is that right? That thing I went to. They seem to be coming my way. And so I was like, oh, I'll just use the ones I have, blah, blah, blah. In the weeks and even the month after Indie Beauty Con, when I had received those products and I was sort of flip-flopping between a bunch of different cleansers and different products, my skin was not happy. It was a bit bumpy, kind of all over all the time. And I had also started out with some new products that I was using regularly, and some of them I thought might be culprits. I'm going to talk more about that actually in Hannah's Reckoning. I decided that I needed to go back to this and just use it as my only second cleanse for a long time, because before I ran out of this, before I started using a bunch of different ones and testing out a bunch of stuff, my skin was in good shape. I mean, my skin was like, it was going along, you know, breakouts here and there, but really just like decently clear most of the time. I was just like, why keep using all this random stuff? So I bought this, and I'm going to give away all the other second cleansers, and I think I'm pretty much going to stop accepting them in PR, because unless it's one that I know works really well, but I say that, but I've had other second cleanses that I know work really well for me, but they don't work as well as this one, just in terms of helping with my acne. And I have glycolic acid in my routine in this product, and I like it that way. I feel like if I started using a different second cleanser, I would have to get a toner with glycolic acid in it so that I could incorporate glycolic acid elsewhere in my routine, because I wouldn't want to give it up entirely. And that would mean adding another step into my routine and another product, and I don't want that. So I just want to keep using this. I want to be in a monogamous relationship with the glycolic foaming cleanser from Mario Badescu. So I think I'm kind of sticking with it. And I was going to show you all of the other second cleansers in this video, because I'm sort of announcing that I'm passing them on. I'm sort of having a cleanser declutter right now in my heart, but they're all packed. If it's convenient to film myself deciding to pass them on, then I will, but I might also just give them away to friends as the occasions arise. So that was $16, and I didn't even tell you how much the perfume cost because I was too busy telling you about its carnality. It was $20, and it's a spray, which I really like. I'm not a huge fan of roller balls. I feel like you don't get the full experience. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna stop talking about the perfume. It'll show up in my empties sooner or later, and we'll talk about it again then. Okay, the third item on my list is a non-physical thing, so I just have it here. I don't have it here to show you. What am I talking about? Hannah, get it together. I had to pay $8.30 over when I spent my Sephora gift cards. So I'll talk about that again in my upcoming video, but I put Sephora gift card overspill on here as one of my items because that had to come out of my budget. And then the next thing I purchased after that was this bottle of Lush Toothy Tabs. This is what I use to brush my teeth. This is my favorite flavor. It's called Boom. They are very porous. This flavor, the one I had before this was Limelight. They're the green ones, the lime flavored ones. They are a bit harder, more pellet-like. These are very porous. They dissolve in your mouth and they turn into like a foaming black toothbrushing situation. But I like the flavor. They're supposed to be Coca-Cola flavor. I love Coca-Cola flavored things, even though I don't drink soda anymore. I don't consume sugar pretty much. And so I'm always like excited when I can experience the flavor of Coca-Cola. In fact, something that I've never talked about on my channel, but that I consume constantly and that I should probably put in my favorites one of these months just to give it its due, is this product. This is the Coke flavored liqueur. It isn't sweetened. It's just like other liqueur. It's just like, you know, tangerine or whatever flavor you get, but it has the flavor of Coca-Cola. In my experience, some people absolutely abhor this. Some people take a taste of it and then they like have to spit it out. I love it. I drink it. I mean, I literally constantly drink it. It is my drink of choice. Coke flavored sparkling water. This cost $10. I put it here as $11. It cost $11. Maybe that was with tax. It was 10 something, but I ended up spending $11. I bought this in a Lush store. Every time I repurchase this product, I'm always like, it's fine, it's worth it. You know, it doesn't last as long as a tube of toothpaste and it costs more than a tube of toothpaste, but it's just, you know. And this time I was like, I'm definitely gonna repurchase them. I love them so much. And then when I was buying it, I was like, ugh, I mean, $11 of my budget, that's like a 20th of my budget, right? That's like that's a 20th, 5%. And I was just like, if I had bought a tube of toothpaste last time I bought tooth cleaning product, I wouldn't even have used a quart of it at this point, because, you know, a tube of toothpaste lasts like 7 months and these last maybe 2. This might be the last bottle I buy. It's really the budget is like changing what I'm cool with. I really, really want to move towards making smarter choices with small things like this, and then being able to feel okay about buying one big nice thing. You know, like a dress that's $100. That's something I'm contemplating buying this month. Or a full size of this perfume once I run out of this. That kind of thing. I would rather use toothpaste instead of this, and then be able to invest in bigger, more long-lasting pieces of beauty that I think will make me happier in the long run. I don't know. Large claims I'm making right now, but these are just the kinds of things I've been thinking about as I go through this bottle of Toothy Tabs that cost me $11 last month. When my friend Heather was in town, her channel is Love Heatherette. I've been mentioning it a couple times lately because she was just here and we visited and we walked around. We went to the Grove, which is like this big sort of outdoor mall that's attached to a farmer's market in LA. And as we were walking around, we saw that the Anthropologie there was moving. Like they removed the Anthropologie from the Grove. And so everything was 40% off in the whole store. They were like liquidating the Anthropologie. And I feel like Anthropologie's star has set for me. I used to be just a complete sucker for the lifestyle that they sell. And I no longer am that. I sort of have moved on from being interested in Anthropologie. I used to just haunt their website. I mean, Anthropologie was responsible for a lot of kind of my developing shopping problem as a young adult, a college student, and then like in my early 20s. They just really, really got me with everything they were selling. Ordinarily, historically, I would have been like, oh my God, 40% off Anthropologie, and I would have just been like, you know, stuff. We went in because it was kind of like, how could we not? But it was interesting walking around. I was just like, But something I've been really wanting to buy is a candle. I had 1 or 2 going into the no buy year. I burned them up. I think I did buy one during my no buy year as a replacement and then burned it up, but they were long gone, long burned away. And I had been sort of working myself up to decide which candle I wanted to spend part of my budget on and to buy it. So I was like, we're in Anthropologie, everything's 40% off. This is the perfect opportunity to buy a candle because I'll be able to buy one that would ordinarily be something like $25, nth candle prices for half that pretty much. And that's what I did. I picked this candle, which we've had before in our home, and I know that Joe likes the smell of it. Joe, he doesn't like things that smell good. He's always like, oh, you should have seen him the first time I sprayed this. He was like, what the hell? He was like, and I was like, just give it 20 minutes and it'll smell amazing. And you know, it's fine. We're fine. But I didn't want to, you know, buy a candle and then every time I light it, have him be like, it smells like a bear's butt or whatever he would say, you know. So when I saw that this one was there, I knew that I had purchased it in the past and he had been like, it smells nice, or he'd been fine with it or whatever. And I do like the smell. This is exactly the kind of scent that I like. It's Baltic Amber, and this is a Valepsa candle. And so it just, you know, it smells very kind of musky vanilla and amber, and I'm all about that life. So I got it. I don't want to take the lid off right now because I'm like trying hard and it's not happening, and I don't want to try harder. But all that's in there is like a half burned candle and 3 black wicks. It's great. Money. What am I talking about? Budgeting. My Anthropologie candle. So it ended up costing $14.27 with tax. I think this candle, yeah, it's marked as $22 on the back. So I got it for almost half off. I've been burning it now for weeks. I mean, it was weeks ago that Heather was here. It was probably like a month ago. Candles, this candle, candles in general, that's something I'm struggling with my budget. I always have candles around, or I always used to. I always used to have a candle. I'm not one of those people who had like a candle closet. I never would buy a candle if I had already a bunch of candles. I would just like buy one and burn it, or buy 1 or 2 and then burn them. I would usually have like 2 or 3 around in different rooms of the house. And now, you know, we have one. We had none, and now we have one. When this one's burned up, we'll have none. And so if I want to keep us in candles, like keep us in nice candles, that's going to be me spending like $10, $15, maybe $20 every month. That's going to be a piece of my budget every month. And I'm just not sure yet if candles are that important to me. It's just interesting. I really wanted this candle, but I really dragged my feet. And it took that sale at Anthropologie for me to fork over a bit of my budget for a candle. And now I'm really, really glad that I have it. It brings me joy every time I light it. It makes the house smell good. It makes me feel all cozy. I really, really love it. But there's something about it. It's like, it would be so easy for me to drop those $20 on a lipstick. But even though I use the candle more frequently, and even though it changes the environment and it really arguably has like a bigger impact on my life than a lipstick, there's just something about it. It's just been really interesting, the way that budgeting reveals my priorities. All right, let's talk about my ColourPop order. You guys, I felt like it was the 3rd month in a row that I placed a ColourPop order, but I just went back and looked and I didn't buy anything from ColourPop in February. So I placed a ColourPop order in January that was only for $13. I think I bought, what did I buy? The brow gel and the lipstick. So in January, I just bought 2 things from ColourPop. Not brow gel, what am I talking about? Brow pencil, which I ended up loving. So what happened was I ran out of my brow pencil and I had to buy another one. And for 2 reasons, I placed a larger order than just the brow pencil. One, and I'm like slightly ashamed of both of them. I'm slightly ashamed that my largest expense this past month from my budget was a ColourPop order. It's just like, it's not the life I want to be living. Like I was saying before, I want to stop nickel and diming myself out of my budget and stop like tiny thingsing myself into a feeling of being overwhelmed with stuff, and just start saving and waiting and buying like one nice thing at a time that costs more. And ColourPop is the true opposite of that. Like, it is literally the antithesis of the life that I'm trying to live. I'm being so dramatic about my ColourPop order right now, but you guys get what you, especially if you've been following me, you get what I'm saying. And you also get like why I still placed the order, because it's really lovely things and beautiful colors and so much choice, and the prices are so low. So it was a chance for me to get my oats felt in terms of just some cool beauty products for relatively little money. I mean, it did end up adding up to $30, and in retrospect, I wish I had spent those $30 on one high-end lipstick instead of these products, but I didn't know that before I bought them and tried them out. You guys know how it goes. You feel me, I think. The point is, I just needed to replace my brow pencil, but I was not about to place a ColourPop order without throwing into my cart something that I have been wanting for the whole year since it released. When did it even release? For like a month since it released, and that's this Glitterly Obsessed, the sheer one, Disco Lady. It's the one that's iridescent holographic clear. I'm gonna swatch it for you, even though that means glitter all over me for like 24 hours. Hence, that's how much I care about you guys. It's so freaking pretty. It's so freaking pretty. And you probably got a good gander at my manicure. Remember in my favorites video when I was talking about how I might get my nails done again? Well, I did. I got them done, and I didn't know I was gonna pick this green color, but when I saw it, I was like, you're the one for me. So this I have been wanting since it was released. And I even used it as an example in my check-in in February about how I kind of talked through, I imagined the process of getting it and then having it kind of fall out of favor, and imagining my way through the entire process kind of talked me out of getting it. That was when I was considering placing an order just for it. But I kept wanting it, and I talked myself out of placing an order for it. I let it go. It went out of stock, and I thought that that was it. I thought it was like limited edition for Valentine's Day or something, and I thought that I had missed out on it, and I was fine with it. But when I went to buy my brow pencil and I saw that this had been restocked, I was just like, oh girl, I'm effing getting it. I think a real reason that I wanted to try it is that I have been loving so hard on the Lemonhead LA glitter sample that Wendy gave to me. She kind of depotted some of hers into a little container. It is such an exquisite product, and I've been using it a lot, and I love it on my eyes, and I love it on my cheeks, and I feel like it really gets my artistic juices flowing. I wanted to see how this stacks up against it, how the ColourPop one stacks up, because if the ColourPop one is as well performing as the Lemonhead one, I was thinking, wow, that would be such an amazing option for the future. If I want to get a specific color of that kind of glitter gel, then it would just be good to know. I'm here to tell you that it does not. It does not stack up to the Lemonhead LA ones, and here's how. And I know that you're not technically supposed to use this around your eye area. I'm always very, very careful. I make sure that it's totally set and dried down. I make sure that I'm careful when I'm taking it off. You know, it's not sanctioned for use around the eyes, but you can do whatever you want with it. It's just, you have to be careful that you're not running the risk of getting it in your eyes. But I never put it like on my lash line or anything. I always keep it kind of high up in my crease and above my crease. As soon as I got it, I did what I've been doing with the Lemonhead LA glitters. Instantly. I don't even remember where was that. No, as soon as I got home that night, I did what I've been doing, which is that I just patted it into my crease and on my lids and a little above my lids on top of the eye look that I had on, which was sort of a light eyeshadow look. And then I closed my eyes and let it dry, and 2 minutes later it was creasing on me. It was, and I was filming. That's what was going on. I was zhuzhing my look up for filming, and it just ruined my eye look. It was a disaster. It was patching. It like pulled up, the gel mixed in with the eyeshadow. It wouldn't really set down completely. It pulled it up, and I opened and closed my eyes. It was patching off. It was just horrible. It was exactly what you would imagine something like this that doesn't perform well doing to an eye look. So I got the Lemonhead one out, and I used it to fix the problems that this one had caused on my eye. So basically I took the other glitter in gel. It's the exact same type of product, but it's like a silver holographic instead of a clear. And I patted it over top of the place where this had made my eye look patchy. And that one from Lemonhead, it dried, it set, it was perfect. My look was bulletproof, and I filmed the video and everything was great. They just don't, they're just not the same. It's not the same. And so now I know, and I guess it was worth my $6 or whatever to find that out, and also to be able to report back to you guys. Honestly, if I were a viewer of mine, this information would be solid gold, because I wish someone had told me this before, because then I would just have never ordered this to begin with. I wouldn't have wasted my money. And here's the thing. I love this clear holographic situation. I love it, but now I know that what I want is to buy the one from Lemonhead LA that's in this colorway. I might give this away if I find someone who I think would really love it. I'm sure it's fine for use on the body and the cheeks, and I might hang on to it for a while and see just if I wear it to tango on like my collarbones or on my cheeks or something like that. But what I really want this for, what I really love the other one for, is for use as something that I can incorporate into eye looks, and I just can't do that with this. I'll never try it again. I tried it a couple more times after that just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, and it wasn't. It just doesn't set down in the same way. It's just not the same level of quality as the one from Lemonhead. The other two things in my ColourPop order besides the brow pencil were this lip pencil in the color Love Bug. I got this because I've been lusting after a Charlotte Tilbury lip liner. I think it's in the color Hollywood Honey. From what I could tell by like spending an hour and a half looking at swatches online, this was the one that seems like the closest to that. There's just this lip look that I really wanted in some Charlotte Tilbury colors. I'd also been really eyeing Bond Girl, her lip color, and I didn't want to spend the money. So I got this, and I do think that it gives me kind of like a Bond Girl-esque type of lip when I wear it. I really do love the color. And then this is Butter, which is a Luxe Cream ColourPop lipstick that I have been wanting since they released during my no-buy year. I just have been wanting this, and I was placing the order. Oh, and here's the other thing that got me. So I put the brow pencil in my cart, which has already fallen apart, by the way. This has happened to both of the ones that I've ordered. It's the one flaw in the perfection of this brow pencil. So I put the brow pencil in the cart, I put this in the cart, and then I was like so awkwardly close to free shipping. And you know that like the last time I bought from ColourPop, I was like, I'm paying for shipping and no one can stop me. But I wanted these enough that it was like the free shipping I kept putting them in and taking them out, and it was so close that by buying them and then using whatever discount code I was using and then getting the free shipping, it was almost like I was only paying like $3 more or something than I would have been if I had paid shipping. You know how it goes. You guys know how it goes, but that's how this happens. That's how we end up swimming in all of this ColourPop stuff that we only half kind of wanted. And it's not that I only half wanted these, I did, but that's how I ended up in this situation this month. That's how I ended up spending almost $30 at ColourPop instead of the $25 or like the $20 that I might have otherwise spent. So the thing about these is that I just haven't gotten that much use out of them since I bought them because I shopped my stash for those bright lipsticks, and I've been wearing them all the time. I'm wearing Tom Ford Wild Ginger today, by the way, one of my all-time favorites, my crown jewel. In any case, I've kind of learned my lesson about ColourPop, and I'm thinking about doing something that I never do, which is I'm thinking about buying backups of that brow pencil the next time I place an order, because I placed the first order, I guess, in mid-January or late January, and the brow pencil lasted about a month or a month and a half. So if I buy 3 or 4 at once, then I won't have to place another ColourPop order to replace that for, most of the rest of the year. And then I won't be tempted to throw extra stuff in my cart. So I think I'm not totally convinced yet. I'm not a backups person, as we all know, but I'm starting to think that this might be a situation, given the way that ColourPop kind of works on my brain. This might be a situation in which it makes sense. All right, there's just 2 more things left. I always think that this video is going to be short, this like what I bought, because I'm like, oh, I'm just telling them what I bought and how much it cost. But then it always ends up being like this, like super long, because I'm like, let me tell you what I bought and then all of my feelings about these things. What else do we expect at this point? So I bought this Sephora color corrector. I talked about this already in a video. It was in my declutter and makeup packing video. No, what was it in? My empties. It was in my empties, because I was showing the empty of the one from Lancome that lasted forever. That Lancome one lasted like over 2 years. And as I briefly mentioned in that video, I'm sure that this one isn't as effective in terms of like cost per use, because that Lancome one was $30 and lasted like 2.5 years. This was only, it ended up costing $15.33. I bought it in store because it's been sold out online for a while. It keeps going in and out of stock online. And I just can't imagine that it's going to last that long. Although we'll find out. I don't think there's as much product in here, but also it's so pigmented and it's so serumy. So I think that in terms of volume, I'm using way less product at a time with this than I was with that one from Lancome. Because the one from Lancome was kind of tacky and thick. So I would squeeze out like it was like a half grain of rice sized amount and use it every time. And at that rate, it lasted 2.5 years. But this, it's so serumy and light that it's like a dot. I probably use like 3 of these dots, 3 or 4, and 4 of these dots by volume do not add up to a half of a grain of rice, if that makes sense. I love this. I love this. And not only was it cheaper to buy in the moment, even though it might not last as long as the Lancome one, it still only cost me half of what it would have cost to replace that one. Not only is that true, but I love using it so much more. You could not make me go back to the Lancome one if you paid me. If these suddenly traded in price and this one became $30 and the Lancome one became $15, I would still buy this one. I love it so much more. I'm really, really, really glad that I started looking around for something different. Okay, and the last thing that I purchased is another pair of sunglasses. Right at the beginning of February, I purchased a pair of sunglasses from a street vendor in downtown LA. I showed them in my last video of this nature, the one about what I bought in February, and I said, this is my only pair of sunglasses. I'm really happy with them. They only cost $5. I feel really great about supporting this street vendor. And I just felt like I was gonna be living my best life in $5 sunglasses until the day I die. I was like so into myself because of how into cheap sunglasses I was. And then one of you left a comment, and I thank you very much for doing this, although it did throw me into some turmoil. One of you left a comment saying, it really is no joke when it comes to UV protection with sunglasses. And I will say that most of the cheap sunglasses that are for sale on the street in downtown LA, they say UV protection on like the tag. This pair, I'm not sure it did. A lot of them do though. They'll like have it on the tag or something. But because I don't know where they came from and I don't know where they were made and how they were manufactured, there's no guarantee that that's true because it's like they're unbranded, and so there's no accountability. So even the ones that are sold for $5 that say UV protection on them, I'm not sure that I can trust them. When you aren't wearing sunglasses and the sun shines, your pupils like get smaller to let in as little light as possible, and you squint. If you shade your eyes using like a tinted lens, but you don't protect from the UV rays, what happens is because your eyes are shaded, your pupils dilate again. They go back to like normal because your eyes aren't uncomfortable because you don't feel like light is getting into your eyes. So your body kind of relaxes, your pupils dilate again, but then if you aren't protected from the UV rays, they can go into your big dilated pupils and cause a lot of damage to your eyes. I hope that I'm relaying the information correctly. Basically, when I read that and when I really thought about it, I was like, oh, it's not worth it. So I was on the hunt all month. Towards the end of the month, I managed to find my way to a Nordstrom rack, which I thought would be a good place to find a pair of kind of interesting sunglasses that I would feel cool about wearing, but that wouldn't cost too much of my budget. And these are the ones that I ended up with. They are from Key, Australia, which is, you know, like a cool sunglass brand, I guess. And they were $24.95 at Nordstrom's. I think that they were marked down from $70 or something like that. And here's what they look like. I think they're great. I think these were a collab. The tag said they were a collab with someone, but I didn't recognize the name. The style is called Goldie. And that is it. That is everything that I bought in March. I ended up spending, I think as I said at the beginning, $137.75 of my $282 budget that I started out with. And so that means that I ended up with still $144.25 that rolled over to February. No, that rolled over to what? April. OMG my life. So it's April now. I haven't bought anything yet. I'm filming this on something like the 5th or 6th. It's the 8th. I have $344.25 in my April budget. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I feel like I've got a little room to maybe buy a houseplant for the loft. I'm also thinking, as I said, about buying like an investment dress for the summer. It remains to be seen. Stay tuned if you would like to find out what I buy during this month. Maybe a lipstick. All right, that really is it. I need to go. We still have a good bit of unpacking to do, and I'm gonna cook dinner in our new kitchen for the first time tonight. Thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.